Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and if you're new here, welcome to Arcade Garage. Today we've got a video on something that a lot of you guys have been waiting for and asking a lot for. Coil driver for the Ecotecs and L67s, Buicks as well, 2-run LS coils. I've got a set here from my first setup with aftermarket ECU. Don't mind the shitty brackets. But anyway, here it is here, named ECD for Ecotec coil driver. And first of all, as you can see the box here, this looks miles better than the original one. This is a metal casing, it's waterproof, we mounted in the engine bay. The connector is all waterproof as well. So for starters, we'll take out the connector. You just pull this purple thing back here and it pops right off. There's your box. So if I remember when editing, I'll put up a close-up of this so it looks all nice. The manual can be downloaded online. I'll have a copy if not. And then I started on wiring my harness because I knew this wiring bit was going to be tedious, but I'm going to add a couple extra wires. Everything can be controlled electronically by your phone or a tablet using an app, so you can set the limiter, you can set the 2-step amount, and you can also change like the gain, etc, etc. The old one you had to ground a wire out, which you can do on this one as well. It is an option. Those are the wires I'm going to wire in just to show how easy it is to wire. Yeah, that's how the old one was. With this one you can all do it through an app. So I'm going to move the GoPro, get it in nice and close so you can just see kind of this makeshift table, and then we'll run through how you go about getting this connector apart to install new wires in. Right, so and to get the black part of the connector off, you can just use a flathead screwdriver to start to pop it out. Mine will be a little bit tough because I got my wires all in there. So just got interrupted by delivery. But once that's out, that comes all the way off. And then you have a guard at the front here, which you just pop the yellow bit out by the tabs, get a flathead screwdriver in there, and away and up that comes, and then you can see all the pins there. So when you terminate these, you push the wires through this black thing, then there'll be a weather guard just in there. You push your wires through that, and then once you've done that, then you crimp, and then once you've crimped them on, you push it through. So it's a push to seat, so you push a wire through this, wire through that, have it there, terminate it, push it through until you hear it click, and it will push through and click there. So I'm actually not going to bother showing that. If you've got any questions on how to do it, you can feel free to inbox myself. I can give you a proper rundown of how to do that bit, but I'm going to show you how you terminate the style connector that is given here. So there's 2 different sets of pins that come. There is a big set of big terminals that carry main power, and then a small one. So I'm just going to show how you terminate the small ones. These terminals I suck at, so mind the crudeness, but at least it'll give you guys an understanding. So I'm going to get some wire, strip a bit. I like to always twist my wire after I've stripped it. Now here you push it into there. I like to leave it a little bit long so it runs slightly in. So if you're looking at these tabs here, these further ones here that stick up crimp onto the insulation, not the wire, the insulation, so that physically holds the cable. And the 2 smaller wings there, which are actually longer, they are what crimps around the wire. So I like to always crimp the tall ones that go around the insulation first, so I always push them in a little bit by my fingers, you need this crimping tool. You can use pliers, but since I have a proper crimping tool, I'm going to use that. Slide it into it, and then crimp it down. And then hopefully I'm holding it right for the GoPro. And there you can see that it's crimped properly. I'm tugging it now, it's not coming out. You can also squeeze it a bit to pull it back into shape. Now you can move on to crimping these ones here. Same thing, you can squeeze it a little bit to get it started to help with the crimping tool. Now I'm pretty sure my crimping tool, I don't have the correct one for terminals this small, but that's okay because you can just make it work with flat parts of the crimper. Just like that. And then now that is crimped as well. So when I say push to seat, that means you'll be pushing the connector in. And then if you see this little hole here and that little hole there, there'll be tabs inside this that pushes into and clicks, which means you can't pull it back. You can release it from the front with special tools or a very small flathead, but that's the basis of that. So that is that there crimped. So I'm not going to use that, obviously I don't need it. So let's just get these away. Alright, so I'll run through the wiring that I've done. So the cool thing about this as well is it actually provides a ground out signal to trigger a relay. So this relay here is what is going to power my LS coils. So I essentially have this black wire here runs to the ECD box, and then the ECD box sends a ground signal out which powers the coil, creates a magnetic field, which then makes the relay, the contacts in the relay contact and the relay work. And then I have a power cable here that's going to be running straight from the alternator, and then the other one here runs out to the coils. So at the moment I can't get the coils completely finished and wired because on my existing one I have a 8-pin Deutsch connector, and all the Deutsch connectors I have in there are spare ones of the 8s are these female sides here. I don't have any of the male ones. So I might do a run later to Super Cheap or Repco and pick up one of their kits, or that'll be in the next video. This might be a two-parter, but anyway, so this is for the coils. I've got all the coils ran, the trigger wires ran, so 1 through to 6. Then there is a ground cable and a power cable. So I didn't wire these coils up, they already came like that with that Deutsch connector. So the two grounds and the LS1 coil have been grouped together. So if you can have a look there, shows what they are. So these two here have been grouped together in that bunch there. So that's why I've only got one ground and then one power. It's the same thing with that connector. There's only one cable feeding it all. So that's how I'm just going to wire it. You can wire it different if you like. And then these here go to the DFI. So I'm powering the ECD box via the DFI. You can tap into the two cables there. So I have the ECD 12 volts, and then this one here is the ECU ground that comes from the what do you call it? It comes from the coils. So that will run to the whatever pin that's asking for it. And then here it asks for ignition 3 and ignition 1 and ignition 2 in, which it states here which ones you need to do. So on these you'll crimp on some terminals like this one here. If I can pull it off, you'll crimp on terminals like this, and then this will push straight onto the pins on the DFI. And then the ECD box also asks for the RPM signal, and there is one of the wires and the plugs at the DFI does have the RPM signal, so you splice into that. Yeah, and that's pretty much it, as far as I can remember. But yeah, so that's the wiring side of it. And then these two here are the main, this will be grounding to the head, and then this will be going to the alternator. So yeah, this will be the main coil ground and also be the ECD ground as well. I'm just going to put both to the head because it's better that way. So that's that kind of wiring there, and then to put this one back on, you'll think, oh, it's only going, it's not really pushing in, but the trick with it, once I get it the right way, you're like, oh, it doesn't go in, doesn't push down fully. It's because it pushes down as you push this in, like that, and then it's locked in and it's weatherproof. And yeah, you can mount that in the engine bay. So for now, that's going to be part one of this video. Unless I do run to Super Cheap Auto, or get a Deutsch connector, get this finished off, get all this DFI stuff wired into the harness, and then it's either going to be a two-part video. So next Saturday will be the following video for this, where you guys won't see me finish wiring all this. You won't need to. I'll show wiring into the DFI though, so you guys know what wires to go into. But you won't see me wire like this and the ground. There's no point. Then we'll plug the coils in. I'll test my leads to make sure they're still fine, and then we will turn the key on. Get the software, load that up, set everything up, and go from there. So yeah, that should be pretty cool. So yeah. Okay, we're back after a week or so. Sorry if this was a bit of a funny transition. I'd already edited this first part you watched, and then re-downloaded it, and then slapped it in to add this on. But anyway, the connector came that I needed, so I thought I'll get this all out in one video instead of two parts. So got the ECD box all mounted in the cabin, not cabin, the engine bay. Got it all wired, so now I can run you through what you need to do. Instructions show it all pretty well, but as you can see here, I have the ECD box mounted there. I'm going to mount my relay after. I've got the DFI plug here, and then I've relocated the DFI to down here. Yeah, so it shows on here that ignition 1, 2 and 3 out come from this side here. So if you see the DFI plug there, it is the second terminal on every one. It also does show it in the instructions. And then to get the power to it, it says the easy spot to go is off the DFI plug. So the power is this red one here on the very side. You also need the RPM signal, which is the brown wire, which is the third from the center bolt there, which was, if you have a look here, it should say on here, RPM in is pin E, and pin E is that. If you want a good pin out for this, it is on the Ecotec knowledge base. I'll whack a link in the description for that, so you can get all that information. I've also ran the coil's power up to the back of the head, which is here bolted, and then the coil, the ground flat and the coil power just ran down to the starter motor there, which I had some issues with. The first starter just fell to pieces when I was unbolting it, so when I go to test this, if it doesn't crank, it's not the ECD box, it's my starter motor, because I just had one off a motor that sat outside for 2 years, which you can see there. So that's that there, but basically that is all you need to connect it to the DFI. There is only 2 wires that physically go to the DFI, the power in. You could run power elsewhere from set up your own relay or set up a switch in the car, but I was at, or an RPM in. That's it. And then the other three are just spade terminals here, which I've just got here, I'll show you. So they're just these terminals here, and then you just crimp your wire into them, and then they just push on. I've just put these here just to keep these terminals nice and fresh. They don't get all rusty or have crap go over them. So I'm going to finish taping this up and then plug it in, and then show you guys the finished installation, and then we'll probably get inside the car and get onto my phone because I'm using the app, and we'll get it all set up there and then attempt to crank it and see how we go. Okay, so I got everything tucked away and in place. Give you guys a quick look. Relay is now mounted, it's nice and solid. This is still mounted here, that's just the old relay I used, didn't have a mount on it. Ignore this air setup, obviously the airbox was there, being a drift car. I'm not going to bother with that. So that's all that there. So now we are going to go and set it up. I'm doing it through Bluetooth. So what we're going to do is go inside here, turn the power on to the car. Now I'm going to set the GoPro up, and then we're going to go to the screen capture on my phone, and I'll show you guys through that, and I'll talk through this. Okay, so you want to go to your app store, which I believe at this point is only available on Android. You want to download it, which I have here. So once you do that, you open it, see how it says not connected. You will then tap on it. Mine just auto connected because I've already connected to it. So where it said not connected at the top, you'd press that, and it'll come up with the list. So let me just close the Bluetooth connection like this. So it says not connected, you click on that. It shows all your paired devices. If you haven't paired to it already, go to your Android settings to pair. So it's the usual, you know, you press the settings, go to it, la-di-da-di-da. Find the unit here, so we called ECD. Click on it, and now it's connected. Now you can see all your values here, which I've already set. RPM, two-step, gain, cut mode. So you want to click change values, click RPM. You can type in what RPM you want it, you're limited to be at. So let's say we want it at 6.1. Hit that, click send to controller. There, it's saved. Two-step, I've got it set to 2000. So let's type that again. 2000 RPM. This is just for testing purposes. Send to controller. Mode, I haven't played with the cut modes yet. I'll have to find out exactly what they do. And then the gain, I got told leaving the cut mode and the gain where it's at is pretty good, but it's something you can play around with. So same thing, send to controller, so 150, send to controller, hit home, hit update values, and it's there. So we got that sorted there. So I'm going to set the GoPro up here. I'm going to go push the start button, and we'll see if it starts. There we go. That all runs. I'll probably just seize the motor again because this is a bad motor. But anyway, I would love to show you guys a two-step function working, but as like what happened on the drift day with this car, the motor has now seized itself again. Nope, it's still going. Again, so anyway, regardless, I've ran a wire into the cabin. I haven't hooked it up to a switch yet, but you can hook it up to a switch. This wire here, if you just ground it, so I was just tapping it onto here earlier. It will ground out the signal and activate two-step, and it did work. I did have it set at 2000 and I saw it was holding there. Would have loved to have shown you guys, but yeah, motor just sees itself. Maybe I'll come back in an hour or two, see if it will turn over then, and see how we go. But for now, this is where I'm going to leave this video off. if you're interested in it. It will be for sale on my website if you can't get access to PCM hacking, because I know sometimes it can take a while to get approved. So I'm gonna hopefully have a link come up as a button to click on one of the top sides of the screen, and if not, it'll be in the description. If not, head over to PCM hacking, search up SilentBob, get in contact for him about an LS coil driver or Ecotec coil driver, and sort it out from him, and yeah, we'll go from there. So as per usual, if you haven't already, please like, subscribe, leave a comment. It really helps with the algorithms to help push the channel and the videos, and the more it does that, the more some companies will want to work with me, such as with this Ecotec coil driver, so you can put more products out there for you guys. So as per usual, I'll see you guys later. Enjoy the rest of your week.